Yeah,
There
so
is
women
no-
have been to moon. They can definitely
They
do
can
whatever they
definitely
want
do
in
that.
IT industry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi Mamta, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Sanjana. How are you?
Good, very good. It's nice of you to come here after such a long day at work, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
I'm happy that you are here. You know, I've admired you in your organizational skills always, and I've seen that I know that you do belong to IT, right? Information technology. Wait, can you tell me like what your journey was in, was it always, did you always plan to be in IT, or what was it?
Yeah, so when I came to US as an immigrant, I went to high school here and then I went to undergrad, and my path was set that I was going to be a doctor. So I went into pre-med. I was majoring in molecular biology.
Okay.
I actually was volunteering at hospitals. Then I realized that this is not for me because I'm a very empathetic person, so I get attached to things very easily.
Okay.
I really admire doctors, but I realized that it wasn't for me. And at the same time, I was taking a couple of computer science courses just as electives, and I really liked that. So I took a couple more, and I'm like, oh, this seems interesting.
Okay.
So I went to my counselor and I said that I want to keep molecular biology, but I also want to do computer science.
Okay.
How do we make this work? Because at that time for undergrads, there wasn't bioinformatics or computational biology field that I was interested in. So no one at that point had done that, so I went to UC Santa Cruz.
Okay.
And then I decided to do a double major. And because no one else was doing it at that time, I got to work with PhD students, graduate students at that time.
Okay.
And the sequencing of human genome was going on. So I got to work on really cool projects where I was able to combine both biology and computer science.
Okay.
And then out of college, that's what I wanted to continue. I wanted to combine both fields. Then I worked for a medical instruments company,
Okay.
where I was able to work on the software side, but work with research scientists and a lot of geneticists, and work on really cool projects. So that's how I ended up in IT.
So basically, what you did was you combined your biology, molecular biology, with computers,
Yes.
and then that made you like really good in the field where both were required, right?
Yes.
So okay, so you were involved in software also, right? So
Yeah.
basically programming and programming the equipment or the software that was used, right?
Yeah.
So did you always like, did you feel like, oh, this is the right fit for me? You did always.
So I think now that I look back, part of my journey has been that I always like to learn new things. So, at that time, computer science was very new for me. So I went into the medical instruments, the bioinformatics side, and I was working on that for a while. So I was there for 5 years. Then I wanted to do something new. So I completely went to a different industry. I went to Oracle. And I was on the identity management side, so the single sign-on and the two-factor passwords that you use.
Okay.
So that was very interesting for me. So at that time, I also before moving to Oracle, I was also doing my master's. I had gotten married at that time.
Okay.
And I was doing my master's in computer engineering. And that's when I made the move to become a manager.
Okay.
So yeah, then since then I've been on the software side, but also in very different industries. So starting from medical instruments, then in Oracle in identity management and security. Then I went to a completely different field and industry
Okay.
again with Workday and
Okay.
enterprise products, and now I'm again at a very different company. So
Okay.
that's part of being in my journey, and I like to learn different things, and I like to explore different industries.
Okay.
So across these different industries, did you see a lot of women in those industries and in kind of working in your teams?
Yeah, so I'll even start even before the company. So I used to be one of the very few girls in my classes in undergrad in computer science. So it was a very contrasting situation for me because I'll go to my biology and chemistry classes, and there will be a lot of women, sometimes more than 50% in some of the classes. And then I would go to my computer science classes where I would be only like one of the four women in the class. And so that continued as I went to the working world, and that's the reality. And as you go into the leadership positions, you see even more of that.
Okay.
Throughout my career, I've been a lot of meetings where I'm the only woman and sometimes only person of color as well.
Okay. Yeah. So, but what do we do to bring more women? Like, why is it that women are not interested? Is it because they're not exposed to it, or is it because it's just not interest for them, or is it? What do you think?
Yeah, so there are different factors that go into this. It starts from like all the way from elementary schools,
Okay.
right? It has changed a lot, but we tell boys have blue things, they have trucks to play with, and motorized cars. They can play with the remote control and all that, and girls play with dolls and everything.
Yeah.
So we need to introduce this at a very young age. So we need to introduce this at starting from elementary schools, where they need to see that it's for women. They have those options in the career.
Okay.
And they need to see role models, they need to see people in industry, and then we need to make those programs available to kids.
Okay.
So there's a lot of work going on. There is a Hour of Code where they're introducing kids to coding at an early age.
Okay.
So that's one factor, right? So starting from elementary level schools. Then the second part is so that's the education gap that we have right now.
Yeah.
Not many girls are going into STEM fields. And then the employment gap. So once they do the education, for them to have again role models where they can see and work in those industries. So sometimes someone may do computer science or computer engineering, but then they may decide to do like if they don't see enough women in that field, they may think they have to get an MBA or do something else to get a good position. So having those programs, again, we need to hire diverse candidates. We need to give those women opportunities once they have done the education, so we give them an opportunity and they come to the working world. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, once they are in the industry, how do we retain them, right? So that making sure we have flexible hours, we have good parental leave, we have good parental policies. So in 2020, when the pandemic hit, there was a study by McKinsey where 100% of the workforce, of the employees who left the workforce, were all women. We don't see 100% of anything, and this is a very, very dire statistic. So what was the reason? Because women were already playing so many roles at home, and then they also had to take care of kids and play, the daycares were not open. They had to play the teacher role. They have to also work from home, and not all jobs were even possible to work from home. So there were a lot of women who dropped out of the workforce.
Okay.
So having those policies where we have flexible hours, where we have those kind of programs, part-time programs, where women can still work from with those hours. And then when they have a break, for example, they have a maternity leave, or they come or they have a break in between for whatever reason,
Yeah, whatever reason.
then there are programs to allow them back to work.
Yeah.
These days, it's 2023, and still, if on your resume there is a gap in your resume, it gets questioned. Oh, why
Yes.
were you out of workforce for a year? Why were you out of workforce for 2 years? Well, they wanted to spend time with their kids, or maybe it was an elderly parent. Whatever the reason is.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that there are inclusive programs that where women are allowed back to work, and if there's training or reskilling needed, that we provide that.
So more flexibility is needed in terms of, because women are basically managing the kids or the parents or the family, right? So if it's more flexible, then more women would be joining
Exactly.
in industries that probably they're not joining as of yet, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what are the different roles they can play? Like, let's say, my daughter wants to join IT. So what roles are more conducive for women, or more like possible for them to work? Is
All
there
the
any
roles.
all the roles?
All the roles. Why we should not distinguish like these roles are good for women or these are not. Absolutely, all roles, whatever they're interested in, you can still be in technical industry. There is even we have all departments like financials, legal, program management. So it's not that the technical industry is just for IT. So whatever role they're interested in, and again, that's why we need representation. That they should see women in all those different roles, so they also aspire to, and they don't feel like
encouraged, right?
So there is no they can go to any position, any role they can play in finance, you said engineering, or legal issue, or like wherever, or software, hardware.
Yeah,
There
so
is
women
no-
have been to moon. They can definitely
They
do
can
whatever they want
definitely
in
do
IT
that.
industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they should just do it, and just wherever it takes them, whatever interests them, right? That's what they should, Okay. But you've been, Mamta, working for how many years in IT? Like all these years, like.
It's definitely
23.
it's definitely
20?
been over 20 years.
So what did you ever feel that there was a glass ceiling and in your career path, and then what did you do about it? Like, first of all, did you ever feel it?
So like I said, right, there is so many hurdles for women to be to even come up to this level. So there is going to be ceilings at different levels. So I mentioned about entering the industry, being at the industry, and then definitely as you grow in the leadership roles, there is going to be some hurdles and some challenges. So I've been fortunate enough to have good role models and good managers to support me. But there will always be, like I said, sometimes I was the only woman in the room. So there is definitely some bigger challenges we have, but there's also a lot of microaggressions that women feel. So microaggressions like if a woman is talking in a meeting, and actually Michelle Obama really highlighted this issue, you'll see that someone talking over them. Or if a woman presents an idea and it doesn't get the weight, but then a man, if it's the same idea, if they say it in a different way, then everyone listens to them. So Michelle Obama noticed her when she was in the office, and she made it a rule, or like encouraged women that in the meetings, if you see if you see if you see your peer who's a woman,
overpowering or something.
So if you see that someone is talking over them, or if someone is suggesting an idea, to support other women. So we also need to support each other. So if someone talking over them, then say, excuse me, I don't think she was done. Let her finish her thought. And if someone suggests an idea, then just saying, that was a great idea. So it's there are microaggressions as well that where women can also support each other. And glass ceilings, if you look at the data today, men and women are still not paid equally for the same roles. And that's also true in the IT industry. That's changing now because in California there are laws where they now have to disclose the range.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of factors, and there's a lot of work we still have to do in this space.
Okay.
So what I understood today, Mamta, was that you said, in order for women to get into technology and IT and everything, they should be encouraged from elementary school. As little girls, they should be, given access to everything. What we give to our boys, similar stuff should be given. And same thing vice versa, right? The guys should be playing with the dolls too, vice versa.
Right.
So everybody should have access to technology related to toys when they are playing puzzles or something like that. And then as they grow, we, as you said that, you saw that, obviously during your journey, you kind of switched from medical to technology, but eventually later on you joined something that was kind of a mix in the beginning, right? And for roles, you said any role. Women can, there's no sky is the limit.
Absolutely.
You can go to any technology field you want to. And so there is no problem with that. And then about my last question about glass ceiling, you said there is going to be some hurdles which obviously are getting better. You said it's getting better, but with the basically not stopping at any stage where there was a hurdle, you can basically try, and women should support women, right? And then if you see somebody who's not listening, you should bring it to someone's attention. So it's not like not taken care of, right? So there should be with intervention, a slight intervention or something that can be taken care of, right? Yeah, because sometimes people do it probably unknowingly.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe the person doesn't realize that, oh, it's probably I'm interrupting or something.
Yes.
Right? So that is really nice. That's, a lot of girls, we need to encourage our girls to get into STEM, which, science, technology, engineering, math, which obviously will bring them into these nice fields, and they can also become, successful and, can do a lot in these upcoming new fields, right? All these technology related, artificial intelligence and everything else that's happening, right? Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining me today, Mamta.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
If you wanna talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Just tell Sanjana.